Welcome back to the Nafeesa Dangor Show, and we're talking about changing the way we live, things bettering our lives, looking at things that can change our lives for the better. And this one particular gentleman, his name is Ayanda Moses Mbatha. I want to tell you about him. He did something phenomenal. He didn't, of course, let his challenges hold him back. And that's what we found so phenomenal about what he did. He's 26 years of age, is a project engineer at the moment at Rockmatics, South Africa. Ayanda studied a mechanical engineering national diploma from the Tshwane University of Technology. He will be acquiring his BTech degree in mechanical engineering from the Vaal University of Technology this year. His job seeking journey in 2020, after being retrenched in May, was an interesting experience. He was retrenched due to COVID-19, which resulted in Section 189, and it meant the company couldn't sell its products to the world for that period. He then lost his job. So, what he decided to do was, after many interviews and trying to get something, Ayanda decided to market himself at the busy traffic intersection at Blairgowrie and Johannesburg. And he's going to be talking to us about his challenges, his experience, and of course, moving into such an amazing space right now. Very good afternoon to you, Ayanda Moses Mbatha. Thank you so much for joining me on the Nafeesa Dangor Show this afternoon.
Hi, Miss Dango, and hello to your viewers.
A very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for taking the time out to join us. And should we say, inspire us in many directions, because that's literally reading your story. When my producer actually gave it to me, I found so phenomenal. It's such an amazing story. You didn't let nothing stop you. Your challenge was something that you persevered with and made sure you overcome. But talk to us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
So basically, the name is Ayanda Moses Mbatha. So when last year happened, COVID-19 started lockdown in South Africa. It meant that in my previous organization, they couldn't sell ammunition that we were manufacturing to other countries in the world, which meant that because all the borders were closed, so
Right.
which meant that the company had to go through the Section 189, and going through that, um, it just meant that I'm young and I'm getting retrenched. I didn't even understand what retrenchment was actually was.
Mm.
So I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna call my family, call my mom, and all my brothers. There's five of us. It's four brothers and one sister. She's the youngest. So when I called all of them to tell them the news that I'm about to get retrenched, I've received the letter and stuff, they were like, okay, you'll find another job. And I was so puzzled because now all of them they were saying the same thing. And I'm like, but guys, do you understand? My sis, I cannot give you that allowance money every month. I hope you understand. She was like, brother, I know you'll get something else very soon. So they
Mm.
all had that confidence in me that I'll definitely get something soon. So I think that was the turning point in what was supposed to be disappointing.
Mm.
Because for me, it's one thing that I normally say to people. For me, it was easy on this journey. Why do I say that? It's because of my family support.
That
Because
was our
if my
yes.
family didn't support me, I don't want to lie to you, Miss Dango, then I wasn't going to have the courage to wake up every morning, do video interviews, go to the traffic lights, and do all these creative things. I wasn't going to have that because I was going to feel like I'm a failure. I'm so young. Why am I getting retrenched? Maybe I'm not a man. I'm not man enough because I don't have a job. All those crazy things. But because of my family support, nothing stood in my way. So I normally say it was an easy journey for me because I planned it. Planning is very important because I planned it. Start video interviews on LinkedIn, target those top managers via LinkedIn, write very sophisticated messaging, not too long, not too short, stick to the point. Why you're writing it to them? What's the interest that you have in their company? Because once they start seeing the interest, then they say, let me respond to this message because a lot of
Mm.
managers and recruiters, they've got a lot of messages that they get on LinkedIn, and some of them they don't even reply. But if it's something interesting, they will definitely reply to. But some of them they will reply and say, and unfortunately, since lockdown is like this, their companies were retrenching. And I could understand and say, no, no problem. Thank you just for taking the time just to respond, because I know how much time it takes for you guys to respond to these kind of messages. And then from that step, I started doing videos. I would target 15 people every single day to say, I'm going to do 15 videos and cater them to these 15 individuals. I would study on what role do they have on this company, and where do they fit in. Okay, if it's an HR person, if it's a CEO, what must I say? Those type of things. I was even writing down on my book. I had an A5 book this size. I would normally write at the back, who's the name, where they from, which company. Okay, how will I target this person? And then I would record myself in my room wearing like this, because
Right.
here's the thing, first impressions, they always last.
You are so right. I couldn't agree with you more. But I think what stands out about your story as well is the perseverance factor, firstly, that you've had, and the amazing support structure that you've had from your family. And I think this is something that everybody needs to understand, especially during this COVID-19 period, is that we should be support structures for each other. And that is what gives us the drive to and the perseverance to be able to get through those challenges and come out on top. And that's exactly what has happened with you, is that you've taken that support, added support that you got from your family, used it in a positive, constructive way, and asked yourself, what sort of opportunity can you go out and find to be able to better your space that you're in, and find yourself something that you will fit into, and you have definitely very aptly done so.
It was easy. Why am I also saying that? Like you said, the support structure is the most important thing, because
I agree.
I couldn't do what I had done last year
Mm,
without that creative and supportive space. Because yes, I'm an extrovert. That's nice.
mm,
But you know that also extroverts at times, when their confidence can be dampened when such things come to their lives. It's normal. I'm human.
yes,
But
definitely.
because I've got backup, trust you me, some people will say, oh, you are super, Ayanda, this is so nice, and I'm like, only if you knew. And I keep on saying, your family support is very important, because even my girlfriend, she was very supportive. Nothing changed, because we dated while I was working, we dated also during my retrenchment. Nothing changed. She was still in support. So because also her, she had that full support behind my family, because also that's another important factor. If you're an individual who's in a relationship, make sure that your partner also supports you. And with that support, also it gives you that motivation to say that I'm going to wake
Mm,
up every day, I'm going to try every single chance. Imagine it's level 5 lockdown,
sure. That's
and
unbelievable,
definitely
because I
almost
mean, during level 5, you wouldn't really expect anybody to move into any space for that matter, and you are a typical role model to others to make them understand that irrespective of what you're facing, that support structure is what you need. And we need
definitely.
families and friends to start getting together and start giving
Yes.
each other that support that they require during this very difficult period, because I think that's what's going to help us actually, like you say, overcome those hurdles and achieve what you have. Because like you
Especially
said, and I
psychologically.
think that's what you said, it's easy, but to a lot of people, Ayanda, it doesn't sound easy, because they don't have
Yes.
that added support structures where people have that confidence in them to say, I know you can do it.
Yes, yes, I agree with that. And I'm not gonna sound too cocky about this and say it's that easy. To the people that don't have this type of support structure, what I've done is,
Mm,
last year, back in September, before September, in August, I started a competition on LinkedIn called the hashtag video interview competition. Why did I start this competition? It's because of this competition was basically structured to the females of this country. Why females of this country? Because most of the time, females cannot go to the traffic lights because of the
mm,
robberies, because of
yes.
how South African men are towards females on the streets, in any way
And
of the
also
sort.
the
So
safety
for their
factor, if you look at
safety,
it. Yes.
yes, yes. So
Yeah.
for
And then
safety, I
people look
wanted
at
them.
and I don't know why it's a taboo thing. People look at women standing on the street corner and ask themselves, what on earth is she doing there? What is she trying? So it's nice to see you educating people to look at it from a different angle, and you're helping women get out there by giving them that added support. And I love the idea of that. Talk to us about, I found it very phenomenal to think, because it takes a lot of gumption, should they say, to be able to take a placard and go stand out on a street intersection, at a traffic intersection, with, oh, can I please get a job? Because a lot of the times you see people standing on the street and, they do that, hi, how are you thing, and they carry on driving and thinking that you want to put your hand out. And I think people look at it differently to say, is this guy for real? Because he's standing at the street corner with something totally different. And it's not a norm. People don't find it a norm. So how did you get around that?
One of the nice things is because of how I dress like this every day when I go to work. So I said to myself, I need whenever I do something, it has to be Ayanda-ish. When Ayanda does something, it has to be
I like
extravagant.
how you say that, Ayanda-ish. It's your own identity.
Yes. So I needed something that could be formal. I needed to make sure that I type it, because I need to take this seriously. Because if I take it seriously, then the person on the intersection will take me seriously. And I also needed to prepare myself psychologically to say that the CVs that I'm also printing, not everyone is going to take your CV. But because it was still level 4, then we started having movements. When I go to traffic lights, then some people are going to take it, and I'm going to make sure that I've got my sanitizing spray. Because when people see that you're sanitizing yourself, they can take the risk of taking your CV and say, I'm going to read this CV at home, and then tomorrow possibly contacting you. So every day I would normally carry 20 CVs. So I did this thing for 3 weeks.
Right.
So 3 weeks, I did this thing, 3 weeks. Why 3 weeks? Because when someone sees you on a Monday, when they come back on the Tuesday, they can be like, he's persistent. Okay, let's see tomorrow. Maybe he's just faking it. When they come back on the Wednesday, trust you me, they'll be like, this guy has been here, he's persistent. Look at now, they're giving more attention to the same guy. They eat their dinners using my name. I saw this guy.
Yeah, and they're taking you seriously. They don't normally take you seriously if you stand there once off, because it doesn't look as though you have that drive to want to actually achieve what you want. But the minute you become persistent and perseverant in what you do, people start looking at you in a different light.
Yes, I agree. And also the most important thing is I wanted to also portray the information that's going to strike out more quickly, because I had to think a person has 10 to 15 seconds on a traffic light to concentrate on your message before it actually turns green. So psychologically, I had to think about all those things. Okay, how do I do it then? Okay, I'm going to stand behind these cars passing on my left, cars passing on my right. Okay, this is how they're going to be seeing. This is how I should position myself, change different positions, different times, 12 o'clock, I'm going to take my lunch. All that. It's like I'm going to a job. So for me, I would wake up.
Strategy on its own. You literally worked out your entire marketing strategy for yourself, having to get very savvy with what you were doing. It's amazing to think, because somebody would stand at a traffic light and say, well, I'm just going to stand at this particular point. But you thought of the different angles as well, where you were going to target the traffic from both ends of the side, so that you don't miss out on anybody that's important.
And the most important thing is, on one hand, obviously, I would have to carry my at least 2 or 3 CVs, so that for every time I give out one CV, I replace it with another CV in my bag.
Wow.
And I would, so psychologically, I had to think of that, because I didn't want just to go there. I had to ask myself, why am I going there? What purpose is this going to serve? And what steps have I taken before I go there? I started doing video interviews before. So when I went there, I was going already on to my phase 3, because phase 1 was sending DMs on LinkedIn. And then phase 2 was doing video interviews like I'm doing with you now. Hi, my name is Ayanda Moses Mbatha. This is what I have. And expressing how I would fit in an ideal interview, because that's the idea of why I also started the competition for video interview competition, so that you can see yourself of how I'll be when you interview me live. And then step 3 was traffic lights, definitely this time around, whoever's seen me before on other platforms, they'll definitely take my CV. And then they ate their dinners using my name and my CV in next to their food. So they ended up calling me. I had close to 10, 8 to 10 interviews. And the nice thing is
Wow.
I had to choose. Then on this day, I was going to this interview, the
So
next day,
you
the next
literally
week.
opened
It
up
was
your
so
options
nice.
there. You opened up all your
Yeah.
options there. 10, I mean, 10 interviews is phenomenal because people struggle to get just one interview, especially
I
during
know.
lockdown. So
I
it's
know.
amazing. Tell me, wow,
Definitely.
what made you choose Rockmatics? I'm sure there was a, like you said, there was a whole lineup of things, and you're now, of course, the project engineer at Rockmatics South Africa. Talk to us
Yes.
about your experience there.
Yeah, okay, so basically, Rockmatics, it's a automation company for the warehouse industry. So anything automation, conveyors, packing, palleting, all those type of things in a warehouse industry. Your companies like your Amazon, your DHL, companies like your Vodacom, all those that use conveyors. Almost every warehouse nowadays, if they big, they will use a conveyor system just to move
Right.
products in a more efficient way. I'm the project engineer, and I started last year, the 1st of September. One of the reasons that made me choose Rockmatics was their CEO. When he interviewed me for the job, every company I would set out questions of these are the two questions that I'm gonna ask them. So on these two questions, one of the questions was, where do you see me as Ayanda before I join this company? Where do you see me in the next 5 years? Forget about COVID-19 lockdown, but where do you see me? Where do you see me transitioning to? Where do you see me growing into? The
Wow.
ones that failed to answer those questions, to me, I saw that no, these people would want to just either have me just for the because I'm on the streets for fame, or some of them they just want to add another person in the engineering space. But with Brocomatics, he specifically gave me a vision. Imagine now it's an interview, and already you can see this vision
You're
goes
turning
with
the
who Ayanda
table.
is. So already show that who Ayanda is, personality, everything, and also going forward, where I would like to grow into. Because I'm
Right.
still 26 and I've got so much to grow into within the engineering space and also in the management space because I'm an extrovert. So I want to enter both paths because I want to show people that if you're an engineer, you don't have to be that boring person that people like to say engineers are boring. But I want to bring both parts from the management side also to the technical side of engineering and combine them together. That's why I chose Rockmatics.
I think that's an amazing concept of I think you look at things from a very different perspective, and that's what stood out for you from the rest. It's your idea of technology and using it to create those opportunities for yourself. And I think you've created an amazing opportunities by just doing what you did by standing on the traffic intersection. But it's nice to see because a lot of the times, and this is where I wanted people to listen to you, to your conversation with myself this afternoon, was to encourage them to see the uniqueness and the potential in themselves, to understand that it's not just about that. I mean, I find it very unique for you to go into an interview and then question the COO and ask
I had to.
for your vision. But it's great to see that because I think that's when they recognize your potential and your drive. And
Yes.
they see your long-term vision as such, and they know that you have one. I think it's an amazing way of dealing with an interview because a lot of the times you go in there and it becomes a very mediocre kind of environment at some point. People
Yes.
don't
Yes.
appreciate the you, as they say, and you brought out the you in that particular interview.
Yes, yes, definitely. I had to because for me, I know that I'm an asset, a very great asset. So knowing that psychologically, I need to ensure that the person who's going to hire me has the vision of where can I guide this young man to go into, where can he grow? Because I'm one person already, I do have a growth structure. So for every company that I go to, that growth structure goes hand in hand. So I need to understand that are there any resources that I can utilize as I go into this role that can assist me in growing myself, not only myself, but also the people around me. Because it's one thing that a lot of graduates need to understand is that once you graduate, when you go into the job market, it's not about you, but it's about the
Mm.
team. Because the company,
I
for them to
I love
succeed.
your concept. I absolutely love it because you think the way I do. We here at Salam Media, we don't think of ourselves. We think about our brand and we think about our team
Yes,
and about having to grow the team and how to move the entire team forward. So when we move the team forward, we move the brand forward. And I
yes,
think that's what growth level is about, is having to look at it from that particular angle and not from a single perspective, like you were saying. And I love your concept of thinking because you think on a very selfless level. So people like that get very far because what happens is you're not just thinking about yourself saying this is myself Ayanda at Rockmatics, but you're thinking as of Rockmatics team as well and seeing how you can all grow together and move that bandwagon forward.
definitely, definitely. Because one of the things that I always advocate is the youth, because of the stigma of saying, once I'm a graduate, I've gone to university, I should just get a job. It's not
Mm,
automatically that way, but you must be a person that whenever you get that opportunity, how to utilize it to grow people also next to you so that they can also be better. Because now, if you are always going to be the only person who can do one, two, and three, what about the
mm,
people around you? Then also
exactly.
you are stagnating your growth as a person. Because once you help out people next to your team, then you know that also your growth also contributes to the bigger picture going forward, which is very
That's so true
important.
because you learn from each other and you help each other move forward. So some people's strengths are others' weaknesses, and that's how you help each other get over that as well, and see different perspectives in the business environment to be able to come up with ideas that will move the entire business forward.
Yes, definitely, definitely. That's very important for me. So if someone is a graduate currently and they think, just get a job and then I'll just do whatever I want and grow and be this, trust me, you're not there yet. You must just be one person who, you know, that when you go into that space, your growth is dependent on how you impact others next to
Yes,
you.
that's true. That's true. What advice would you give startups?
The advice that I can give startups is basically trust the process that you're taking, believe in yourself, and also make sure that you're always on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has so many opportunities, and the people that are on LinkedIn, they are professionals. That's why I
Mm,
love it. Forget about Facebook, your Instagram, your other social media networks. But LinkedIn, it's professional. It's where you can also thrive as a professional in any industry that you're in. You can conversate with anyone, CEO, manager, or whoever because of LinkedIn. So make sure that you're always persistent in what you do, and
mm,
don't think about, oh, it's locked down, maybe. No, 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 forget about what it's locked down. Yes, it's locked down. Make sure that you mask up, you always sanitize, but opportunities are there. When they retrench, they will hire you. That's how the business world works. I don't wanna lie to you. Companies who were retrenching last year, this year they're hiring.
right.
So already you've given up from last year. What are you doing this year?
Mm. So it's also about doing what you said, like, those video interviews and getting onto
Yes.
LinkedIn. And I don't know how many people have the gumption, but I was going to say, and also standing at the traffic intersection, having to give out your
Yes,
CV. Why not? There's nothing
go
wrong
there.
with that.
Why
Um,
not?
it
There's nothing
doesn't
wrong.
make you less dignified. It doesn't take your integrity away. It
No.
just shows that you have drive and ambition. That's what it is.
Yes.
And people
Yes.
should
And
actually look up to you and say, wow, he's done something phenomenal. He didn't just stop there. He made sure that he found opportunity and went out there and created the environment he was looking for.
definitely, because if you're gonna give up now, I used to say to myself while I was going on to this journey, nobody cares whenever I go to the traffic lights. Do you know why I was saying that to myself? Because I wanted to
Really?
prepare myself mentally. Because
Mm,
if someone just passes without taking my CV or doesn't look at me or ignores me, they don't care. But you are going there for a purpose. Because if you're gonna think that People should care. Then you would come back after the first day and give up and say, no, it is tiring. My feet are tired. Nobody didn't take my CV. They don't care. You see, now you're caring what other people think, but you were supposed to go there for a purpose of showing who you are and what you have. That's all. Don't focus on anything else, but just
Ayanda,
focus on the goal.
I'm very curious. I'm very, very curious. How did Chromatics get to you? I mean, was it something that you handed out to somebody who passed it on? Or was it something that you gave directly to somebody from Chromatics and didn't realize that you were?
So basically, as I was giving out CVs to some of them who were picking them up, there were people that talked, and someone talked to the CEO who they never told me about, but the CEO did say that someone reached out, and then when he started going through my stuff and my videos and everything that I was doing, he was impressed, and he said he had to call me in for an interview because he saw something in me that was very unique and special, and where they want to take their company to. So basically, that's how opportunities
I have to
arise.
interrupt
It's
you.
just
Here's
the
a
very
message.
same thing.
Ayanda, here's a message. I have to interrupt you. It's amazing. It says, it comes from Anisa Mayat.
Okay.
It says, I love the story, totally motivated. And this is exactly what we all need for success. Congratulations and good luck for the future. Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing to
Thank you
see
to
the
whoever
people
did that message for me.
the people that are listening to the show are getting totally motivated and inspired just by you. So it goes to show that you're an inspiration and a role model to so many out there, especially myself. I mean, I'm really inspired by what you've done, by going that extra mile and standing there and telling yourself that you can do this, and you have. It's very commendable. What would you like to leave our viewers with? What message would you like to leave them with?
It's basically simple, guys. Make sure that you believe in yourself. That's it. Believing in yourself is the best key to success. So when someone says no, they actually mean not now. So if people can start decoding that no message, if someone says no, they basically saying not now, maybe tomorrow. Come back tomorrow, do the same thing, then they'll always start to consider you going forward. That's it. That's also how you get a job. But if you're always gonna give up on your first attempt, then I don't want to lie to you. This is South Africa, and as you can see, the employment rate is going very high. So if you're gonna say, the employment rate for the youth is big, so maybe I'm not gonna get a job, then why did you even go to school? For some of those who went to university, why waste all those years and then sit on the couch? Rather do something, go out there.
Where do you see yourself in the future?
Try something. We all went to university. For some of us, myself, I see myself as being a manager and ultimately becoming a CEO. And I also see myself as being a motivational speaker. In a few years, I'm going to start pursuing that. For now, I still want to make sure that in my career as an engineer, I'm in my prime. And then in the future, I'll definitely also involve motivational speaking because I'm very passionate about it, especially for the youth, because I love interacting with the youth. And one day I will find that space where I will have this such huge network, especially on LinkedIn, where I can conversate with a lot of youth that are needing jobs and also motivation to feel good about themselves while going through the process of getting a job.
All I can say is, wow, you have it all together, and you've definitely managed to inspire my entire team. And I think all the listeners out there this afternoon, we want to wish you nothing but the best going forward. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. An inspiration and a half. And maybe you need to start doing a motivational piece with me on my show on a Wednesday or a Thursday afternoon. Maybe that's the start, Ayanda. Because
possibly.
waiting for better days ain't gonna help. We need that inspiration now. So I think you and I need to get chatting. But thank you so much. You're such a commendable achievement, and congratulations. You've made us all proud here. So all the best for the future. And we're going to keep watching you because we know you're going to be hitting very hard spaces that we never thought people could achieve. So thank you so much. Have a good afternoon. Do stay safe and keep inspiring us.
Thank you. And please remind your viewers to always mask up in public. It's important. Let's stay safe.
Thank you so much. You do take care. Have a lovely afternoon. Take care of yourself
Thank
and you
you.
also to stay safe. Ayanda Moses Mbatha, definitely an inspiration to all of us this afternoon. I can't even tell you what sort of inspiration it was, thinking that, he had gone that extra mile. And it goes to show that if you have challenges and you just persevere and you grasp onto that ambition and that drive and those support structures, you can reach phenomenal heights. And that's what he's taught us this afternoon. So I hope this has inspired you in many directions. We're going to go for a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be back with you with Aisha Manak, definitely discussing something very important.